forward for maybe a gain of 1, maybe a half a yard. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. They're going to need to get up across the 32-yard line to get a first down here. This time it is shotgun. The Vikings do like to air it out. Grady Larson with 2. Larson's going to keep it this time. He's tracked down from behind there. Nice tackle for loss by number 74. That is Aiden Blue, the 6-foot junior, is able to sneak around the line here and take down Larson from behind. And Aiden Blue sitting there at the tackle spot. Eli Rutten. Rutten about to get a snap here. Eli Rutten. Rutten about to get a snap here, but there's a flag right away. So procedural penalty here for Staples-Motley. They are going to mark it as number 18 here. That's Turner Beachy, the running back here, flinched early. So Turner Beachy, the 150-pound senior. And you look at up and down this Staples-Motley roster, it's really impressive. I've been doing some scouting on this team so far, and it's not like they have a bunch of senior studs in particular. This team is full of juniors, sophomores, and when I look at their size up and down, they don't seem to be massive. They just seem to be well coached, well executing of their offense. Nice and well executed sweep play there. Stayed inside tackle was Bo Carlson, cuts up field nicely, and he gets a gain of 11 there. So the Vikings are able to get a procedural penalty early, but now it's a gain of 12, count it, on the 43-yard line. Staples just needs to get to the, well, a gain of 6. Or gain of 11. I was right the first time. They need to get to the 39 to move the chain. 2nd and 5. Fake the handoff here. Rutten rolls out to the left, finding, that is one more time, Bo Carlson on a nice little 5-yard out route here. Or maybe he crossed across the field. I'd have to take a look back at the replay on that one, but nice play there to move the chains for Staples-Motley. I like how I say check the replay like we're going to go back to replay. We are not. We are sticking it live here. We're just hoping we can get the stream out, to be honest, guys. This rain has been sleeting left and right, and our Wi-Fi is already spotty on a clear day. So this is the best we can do. Bo Carlson one more time, cuts up field, and he is tackled from behind there. Calvin Norton tracks him down for the Vikings, but not before a nice gainer. They're going to say first down, 10-yard gain there from Carlson. And I hear the Staples-Motley faithful setting up a little bit of a, that's a, stole it from any college field ever, or whatever you want to say. That's another insert team name here, first down, and then usually teams do a chant with it. They did not sing, so choir must not be the strong suit of Staples-Motley. What is a strong suit is their football and their running of the ball. That is number 18 there, Beachy, just turning it upfield, getting a huge chunk play, gashing the Vikings for about 20-something. It's inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Cardinals. They'll set it at the 4-yard line. The Vikings on their heels early. And the crowd does it again. Hopefully we don't hear that too often. Beachy on a misdirection play. He's bottled up momentarily and is short of the goal line there. Nice tackling by Vikings number 6, Tate Marich, along with another couple Vikings over there, stopping him from getting into the goal line, across the plane of the goal line. It will be 2nd and 1 with the momentum that this Cardinals team has had. It's starting to make me think that it's a matter of time. Vikings without any kind of negative play against these Cardinals except for the procedural penalty. And, of course, I'm trying to induce an announcer's jinx. Nice play there, Vikings. A 2-yard, that's number 2, Colby Tappy, who is running the ball. That was the one guy that I got a word on being kind of a stud. So Colby Tappy gets a handoff, and the 5'8" senior could not get through to the end zone. So they tried to go with some muscle, the senior, to try and punch it in. They'll do it again. Tappy, and this time he just walks on in. Touchdown Staples-Motley with 7:14 to go in the first quarter. That's where we stand, 6-0 Cardinals. They strike first in their first possession. And immediately so, they stand ready here for the two-point conversion attempt. Another handoff Tappy. This time it's a reverse. They're doing the Philly special. Yeah, touchdown caught by Rutten. That is a nice little throw over there. Excuse me, they're going to blow some whistles, talk some things through. What is happening? All right, they called it an illegal formation. They said only 5 were in the backfield, or let's strike that, reverse it. More than 4 were in the backfield, because I believe that's the play, is you need to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, the 5 linemen and 2 closing the ends here. So they left a lineman uncovered or something, and someone stayed in the backfield here. So they're going to have to do it again. Will they just run the Philly special again? I don't know. We'll see. Number 3, Peyton Jarvis was the one who made the pass to the Philly special two-point conversion. Instead, they try to find Tappy over there on the left side. He caught it, but he actually dropped it. It didn't matter. He ran out of bounds at the 4, and the Staples-Motley Cardinals will not get the two-point conversion. So count that as a moral victory there for the Vikings, but that's about the only victory there defensively on that first drive. Staples-Motley with a 49-yard drive in just about 6 plays and gashing this Vikings defense. And the Staples-Motley faithful about as loud as the pep band was, and I do say the pep band was quite loud here, thundering through this rainy day. Usually on a day like today, I think they keep the horns inside, but the forecast just changed in an instant, as it would in any I would say Pelicn Rapids, just Minnesota weather, as any Minnesota weather does in October. It might say one thing 24 hours earlier, even 24 minutes earlier, and we get something different the other end. There's another kickoff there, deep again over the head of Checo D'Souza. Goes into the end zone for him this time, so there will not be a return. Caden Neeson, I tell you what, that man just tossed it 65 yards with his foot into the wind. I believe there's a bit of a wind out of the south, so that is a poke with some moisture too. Best kicker I've seen here on Chauncey Martin Field in this season. And so this is where the Vikings will go again. They were 3 and out last time, had a nice first down run for 7, and then got bottled up in their next 2 plays. We'll see how this is affected. As mentioned, they have passed the ball this year more than they have run the ball. This time Larson will still pass it deep to Jack Welch. He rises up but cannot bring it down. Nice coverage there from Caden Neeson. The kicker can cover, too. Nice play there. Really, Jack Welch could have made a great play, but Neeson was blanketed all over him. No interference to be seen. And nice camera work down there, as I can see. Well done, Jaden Peterson and Brian Martinez. They are braving the elements down here. We have a couple seniors. Brian Martinez is only a junior. That a boy, Brian. So if you did not know, this Channel 2 production is a student-led production. We have 2 cameramen down here that are students. They're under the direction of Mr. Kerry Haugrud, social studies teacher, and Channel 2 director here in Pelicn Rapids. Nice catch, and Royston. He'll turn it up here for a gain of 5, count it for 7. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Nice chunk play to make it 3rd and manageable for Larson and Royston. But not only are you able to see this in the comforts of your own home, and I really mean it today when I say the comforts of your own home, but these 2 students are able to learn how to brave the elements and give you a mass media production. And they have nothing to do with our Wi-Fi quality, so I will say that right now. Grady Larson going to try and convert on first down here. They're going to hand it off to Ethan Eisman. Can he get the edge? No, he cannot. Number 52. What a play there. I got to check the program. That is Noah Larson, 6'3", senior, 215. He looks like he's all of that and then some. Big man with some speed on the edge. Did not allow Eisman to get outside and dumps him for a loss of 7. Another punt coming for Pelicn Rapids. Mist still swirling. This time Larson's punt better. Knuckleballer goes right to midfield and out of bounds. No return possible for Tappy there. Colby Tappy watches it fly to midfield, and a deja vu all over again. Staples-Motley taking over one more time on Pelicn Rapids 49. Staples-Motley right out of their own corner, back in the ring as quickly as possible. All kinds of confidence here. Rutten, handoff, Tappy. He's got some space out to the right side. Gets tripped up there after a nice gain of 10. That is C.J. Fay who dumps him there. He crosses the 40, and that's some easy running there from Tappy, untouched through the hole on the left, on the right side, excuse me, and the crowd continues to roll here. 38-yard line, gain of 11. Staples-Motley fans, they should try and figure out a jingle. Like if you've been to the Lambeau Field, they may say, "Da-na, ba-na-na-na." I'm not a Packers fan, by the way. I'm just trying to get some people riled up there at home. Oh, Rutten was pressured by Stubbs, and then he gets out of it, out to the left. Jack Welch trying to track him down. He does. And so Rutten turns a negative play into a positive one. It just gets 3 yards, and that's what great teams do. In their situation where they're about to get a huge loss and put them behind the 8 ball, Rutten makes a man miss, gets it forward for a gain of 3. It will be 2nd down and 7 here. And you hear some chants here from the Vikings sideline trying to get their defense going. Rutten, handoff here to an absolute power back here. I did not catch the number. And the Vikings host of defense wrestles him down eventually. And let's see if I can get... That's not number 56. That doesn't make any sense to me. Did you see Alonzo? I need to get a spotter in here to see who carried that ball. I don't think... Is that possible for an eligible person? Let me see if I can get his number this time. A little bit of almost like a fullback standing behind Tappy. It was not Tappy who carried that. I'll have to listen one more time to see who that was. Great little carry for him for a gain of 5. Tappy, 3rd down and 5, trying to get the 1st down. Hurdles over Bricker Haugerud, but I think it's coming back. I saw a flag thrown, and I wonder if Bricker Haugerud got pushed in the back here. So maybe an illegal block in the back will work out for the Vikings and maybe give them a chance to give Staples a turnover here. We'll see, or a turnover on downs. We'll see what happens. 4-down territory, what they would do. Vikings obviously have to stop them for 15. Excuse me, will not be a block in the back. They're going to call a holding here. They toss it at number 18 again, Turner Beachy. And I wonder if it wasn't Turner Beachy who made that carry. It was just when I was watching it, it just seemed like the runner was a little bit more stocky, with a little bit more size. I look at Turner Beachy's numbers here, 150, 5'8", and he may have gained some weight here in the offseason. And so I think the clock did not restart after a wind here, so then the referee's asking for an adjustment to the clock. They put it on 4:20. I will have to say that this referee does a great job of projecting his voice. I can hear exactly what he's saying the entire play. Ooh, a nice little misdirection play was thwarted by these Vikings. Not fooled inside, number 66, Harley Jacobson. Ready and able there, finishing the job there. Another loss for Staples, and that's huge for the Vikings. That will set up a 4th down and 17. I think these Cardinals will punt it down the other way. Just what the Vikings needed here, a punting scenario for Staples-Motley. Back to receive here is Aiden Checo-D'Souza and Ethan Eisman. They'll punt over here right down the middle in between them. Miscommunication at first. It almost runs into Jack Welch. Fortunately does not. And it is Tappy who downs it here inside the 15. Standing on the 14-yard line. Nice little punt there. 56 for Staples-Motley. Luke Berga. So I think Luke Bjerga does a nice job tossing that down to a deep into Pelicn Rapids' own territory. Love to see it when your middle linebacker, who's just absolute horse, it might have even been him who did run that football on that offensive possession, also can punt the ball. That's a punt, pass, and kick nightmare for those elementary competitors. Grady Larson finding Tate Marich over the middle. Nice job, Marich. Catch and hold for 12. And Larson looks comfortable. I've seen him throw a couple balls now, and he's been able to put a nice spiral on it and put it on target. Even that pass down here to Jack Welch on the 50-yard line was on the spot. So it's good to see Grady Larson not phased here by the inclement conditions. Looking at Grady Larson's stats before this game started this year, he's 135 for 244. So 244 passes. That's pretty much 35 attempts per game. Bricker Haugerud has space out to the left side, and it is Tappy who throws him down ferociously. And he does get a gain of about 4 or 5, so nice run, but he paid the price for it there as he was ragdolled to the ground there. But going back to Larson here, 1,600 yards, so that's averaging over 200 yards a game in the air. 9 touchdowns, 7 picks. That picks number is inflated from the first couple of games, and it's come down substantially. In the last few games, he's had about a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He's been taking care of the ball better. 2:30 to go in the first quarter. Staples-Motley 6, Pelican Rapids 0. Flag on the field. Larson in frustration rips it out to Eisenman. They're trying to set up a screen for him, but false start is the call. They do identify it here. It is number 65 for the Vikings that jumped. That is Maddox Vondra here, the junior left guard for the Vikings. I could look at the offensive line here for the Vikings, give some praise to that front group. They always get attention when something goes wrong and really never when something goes right. As they'll be trying to get this running game working for the Vikings. Edwin Escobar on the left tackle, Maddox Vondra at the guard, Levi Hillica at center. The right side is Roscoe Stubbs at guard, and number 66, Harley Jacobson at the right tackle. And Bricker Hauger tried to do a little flat route, kind of a check down, and it's about as good as if Larson would have taken that sack, and it's a loss of a few. Pushing these Vikings back again, third and 16 now they face. They did get a first down on that March connection, but now they still have not gone anywhere from there. The procedural penalties cannot happen today. Everything needs to go right for them to stick with this very good Staples-Motley team. And they cannot handle getting backed up in third down. 3rd and 16, Larson back to pass. He's going to go for it. Deep vertical drop. Jack Welch over the middle. He has an opportunity, and he was blanketed there once again by, that is Tappy. So Welch showing frustration here as a good ball was thrown his way. Tappy also good coverage. So Welch wants to make that play, but it's really a good executed play. Larson got protection. They went deep. They had a shot, just didn't happen. Can't be too mad if you're Coach Beachy and the Vikings. Just the ball did not bounce their way, and the Vikings are once again in punt formation here. They keep Larson about 8 yards deep. And it's an end-over-end kick. This time Tappy might have an opportunity. We'll see what he does. He lets it go, and he's frustrated about it. It will roll past him, and it's downed there by number 32, Mark Roysum, at the 36-yard line. So nicer punt there, punt of 35 yards. And that's where the Cardinals will take over. Worst field position of the night. Still not bad on their own 36. I hear some tapping on the drum over there as it looks like the folder stands have stayed up. I wonder if the pep band is going to be playing at halftime. And we have a little bit of a Beachy on a sweep play here, coming out of the wing back or slot back position, catching this little jet sweep. And he takes the handoff, rolls forward for a nice gain of 8. And that's what I've noticed about this Staples-Motley team so far is just a plethora of good running options there. Beachy, one of them. Another one is Tappy. All around their point man, Eli Rutten. And Rutten with Tappy beside him. Bunch set on the right. Handoff to, fake the handoff. Rutten rolls out to his right. Good blocking from his offensive line, and it looks like number 1, Bo Carlson, intended receiver, and good defense there from the Vikings. Tate Marich in coverage is what was said here by the public address man. A little bit of a drag route that found out to be nothing here. 3rd and a couple. Really good defense, and some might say a little contact, but in high school, absolutely not. And it was uncatchable. It was uncatchable, but it was quite wild. That's not really a type of defense that's, hurdling a man there. Perfect. The man is rambling about some nonsense. That's the type of highlight play we need. And tell me you got that. Jaden Peterson, nice find there as Tappy hurdles a man, rolls forward. It's one thing to hurdle a man and go out of bounds. It's another thing to hurdle a man and roll up field for another 10. That is an athletic man right there, forced out at the 43-yard line. Move the chains, Staples-Motley. Rutten now. 2 down linemen, and yes, they'll hand it off. I was right about it. 56, a bit of a fullback there. One more time, Luke Bjerga getting that carry. And you know he's a man to be reckoned with because he has that back plate, that helmet support or neck support behind the helmet. A fullback type run here. Gets forward down to the 41. And that's going to be how this first quarter ends. So for the Vikings, they did get a stop against Staples-Motley, and Staples did score in their first possession. Their offense still needs to start warming up. Vikings 0, Staples-Motley 6. We'll take a couple-minute break here for the start, and we'll be back at the start of the second quarter. Cardinals are back now facing north, and was that a little bit of a wildcat formation here? It looked like, was that taking a direct snap? Was Colby Tappy? Maybe I'm just seeing things. I didn't look closely enough. Rutten still in the game, so regardless, Tappy, little run. It gives him a gain of a couple. Let's mark it at a gain of 4, down to the 38-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd and about 4 here. Rutten out of the shotgun. Fake the handoff to Tappy. Instead, they're going to go right here to number 1. That is Bo Carlson. He rolls forward for that first down for the Cardinals. And there goes another option for them to run the ball here. I see four big-time ball carriers so far. Bo Carlson, Colby Tappy, number 56, Luke Bjerga, and not to mention number 18, Turner Beachy. And might I add, Turner Beachy, last name Beachy, you got to think of Coach Beachy. That's first cousin and also nephew there to Ryan Beachy, assistant coach, who's been able to make it here to these games despite a really adverse accident he's had on a motorcycle this fall. And so we're obviously continuing to pray for his recovery. It's been really exciting to see how strong he has been in recovering from that accident, and that's something that was on their shirts in school today. All the boys had shirts that said "Ball for Beach," which was in the back. It says "Sell out, make a play, do your job." I might have had those in the wrong order, but really this team is balling around one of their favorite assistant coaches and father of the head coach, Ryan Beachy. So we pray for his continued recovery. On cue, Beachy handoff left with space, turns it up to the pylon. Touchdown! He got out of Ethan Eisenman's arms or rolled through them to get across the plane. Nice little run there for about 28 yards. Turner Beachy for 6. Very good camera work. Jaden, camera work has been awesome. Very good job. So they'll line it up here for the 2-point conversion. It is Rutten. He's got 2 men beside him. Handoff, no, he holds it, and he'll find a wide open number 4. Touchdown, or not a touchdown, 2-point conversion, good there. Evan Schultz, first time saying the junior's name today, leaked open for a wide open little touchdown there. And I keep saying touchdown. Little 2-pointer to go, so they make up for their missed 2-point conversion before, and they make it 14-0. A very conventional score here in Pelican Rapids. Vikings trying to get on the board offensively. You're looking for scores around the area here. We got a couple for you. Barnesville up 37-0 over Warroad. They're just 10 minutes. They're in the second half now. I might wonder, why is that such a developed game? Well, Warroad one more time had that game happen at 6 p.m. so that they could make their 3.5-hour jaunt north being a little bit more favorable for them. They can get home a little bit earlier. Hawley is doing the same to Roseau this time, but they are up in Roseau. Hawley 33, Roseau 8. And so those are the couple close games we have in the Section 8AA that we've cared about. Hawley, Barnesville, Pelicn always been 3 of the kind of rivals here in the Heart of Lakes Conference and Section 8AA. I know Staples has a little bit of a different rivalry profile due to their time in Section 6AA. So here we are always concerned about how Barnesville's doing, how Hawley is doing. And it should be interesting to shake up what the Section 8AA playoff race is going to look like here. Last time we checked, the Vikings were put in a spot to be the 7th seed, the 4th seed of 7 teams. I'm thinking ahead here. When I look here at the standings, what we have right now is Frazee at the 1 seed in Section 8AA, Barnesville at the 2 seed, Pelicn. Well, it says Pelicn 3, but that's going to change because this Hawley team, even though they're 1-6, they will be 2-6, and they beat Pelicn head-to-head. So I think the QRF is going to bump Hawley above. And the entire Section 8 is down a little bit this year. The bottom end is Warroad, Crookston, Roseau. So when I see this, the Vikings have a good reason to believe that they may be the 4 seed, and they may well, we'll see. They might be the 5 seed if you see the Roseau team at the bottom is just a couple QRF scores below them. And the Roseau beat Pelican Rapids. So there's a lot of interesting things that could happen to Pelican Rapids. They are marked at the 3rd ranked team in their section right now, but with the head-to-head situations that they've had, they might be bumped to as low as the 5 seed. So we are still unclear if we at Channel 2 will have another game after this one. And what we'll do is we'll just call the game on the field here. It is 2nd and 11. Larson, empty set, back to pass, looking over the middle, caught by Ethan Eisman. He's going to turn it up seamlessly, gets a block from Tate March, rolls forward, and now he's chopped by Eli Rutten there at the 45-yard line. And so what a nice catch and run by Grady Larson and Ethan Eisman. Credit Tate March for a nice little block to seal him for another 20 yards. And the Vikings have a little bit of momentum here into the second quarter. 9:47 to go. They need a score desperately. 14-0. Could be good. Just stay competitive in this game. You start to bring some confidence into the postseason. And if you stay competitive, anything can happen on Wednesday night in a dreary field. Another catch by Eisman. Crosser over the middle. He's just going to reach forward. He was wrapped up there nicely by number 74. That is Aiden Blue. A really, really nice tackle against the shifty, the elusive Ethan Eisman. He does a good job, sure-handed and well-balanced. And they're going to have to move the mark. Yeah, they put the mark originally at the 48, and then the line judge, I believe that's Rob Nudell down there, set the football at the 49. So they backed it up a yard, and Larson again, empty set. He's going to go over to the sideline. Now Maric threw his hands, and a flag is also thrown right around the line of scrimmage. It looks like it's in the area of holding. Yes, they're going to confer with the coaching staff of Staples-Motley, and he continues to motion, asking for a accept or decline request, because this is a little bit of a goofy spot. It's could be 2nd and 15 or 3rd and 6. It's reasonable to ask, and they are going to accept the penalty. They'll walk it back 10 yards. And 2nd down and 17 now. They'll spot it at the 41-yard line. Vikings right to the ball again. They zoom it in here for Grady Larson. He's one more time, empty set. They're going to stick with it. Nice spiral there, but too strong. It goes over the head of Eisenman, and he's shoved into the bench here of Staples-Motley after a well overthrown ball there. He gets up no problem, helped up by his teammate Andon Roysum. And that'll make it 3rd down and 17. As the Vikings all look at the wristband and look for the play. They have been unafraid to try and stretch it out here. Vikings understand with the impressive depth of Staples-Motley, the sure tackling front, they have been trying to get a chunk play here and there. This is a bunch formation, 3 left, 2 right. Larson over the middle, dangerous throw, Rutten right there. Interception, Staples, and here comes Rutten. He's still on his feet. Makes a man miss out here to the left. He's going to be out of bounds in front of the bench, and I think there's going to be a block in the back called, and I saw it. I believe it was Tate Maric, or maybe it was Maddox Malvonder that got tossed down. They're going to probably identify who it was. And it's going to be my spotter up here saying 56 Luke Bjerga. We'll see if they identify the same person. So they're going to they have a mark right there. And so I think it's coming back 10 yards, but still remarkable interception and bring back. And they're going to identify it as number 52, Noah Larson. So and not that high school scorebooks identify the person as much as at the college level, but this reffing crew doing a very good job with transparency, identifying who committed the offense, and they're gonna tag it on Staples. And I did see it. I don't know exactly if it was Bjerga or if it was Larson, but nevertheless, it backs up an already great return to be just a good return. Back up to the 46, Staples-Motley with great field position, and that is the thing that is not debatable. And that's a nice catch and turn up there by Beachy. He moves forward for about 6. He'll move it to the 48-yard line of Pelican Rapids, getting over that shiny orange Viking head that Trevor Steves did a nice job with one more time. And I think it looked great on Friday night. It probably was so good that they didn't have to do it again. This field has been treating the Vikings football players well. Nice turn up there by Carlson. He's moving out to the left. Bo Carlson now makes a man miss out to the left, and another laundry flying here, and Carlson falls forward to the 10-yard line. But I think it might be another hold and or block in the back in a key spot. So we'll see what happens here. This was thrown by the left line judge. I think our camera probably got it right in front of you guys here. Let's see what they say. This might bring it back to not a first down, to be honest with you. It might be 2nd and 2 instead of 2nd and 1st and goal. This is going to go identified as number 18 by Turner Beachy. And this is there's been quite an amount of penalties here in this first half, and this is the first time I've heard dissent from the faithful on either side. This time coming from the Staples-Motley faithful, but just a frustrating situation when now 2 huge chunk plays get basically nullified by a penalty. It will repeat the down, so it's second down. They did not make the line to gain. 2nd and 2, so it's weird that they gained 4 yards and repeat the down. And now a procedural penalty. We'll just get some groans from the sideline, or the faithful of the bleachers. Not so much a dissent, but frustration in their own abilities here as they go back behind midfield to the 49-yard line. Staples, almost every drive, has had the ball placed on this near side hash on the south side of the 50, and I just feel like I'm seeing things. As if you've watched this game since the start, the ball has been right there in 3 different times, which might not seem like an anomaly, but for my weird math brain, it is. Hand forward to Carlson. He's drug almost down, but he stays on his feet. Strong run there from Carlson when the Cardinals needed it. They had 1 penalty and another procedural penalty. They were in a situation of squandering this drive, and Carlson says, no, let's move the chains and get inside the Vikings 40. And the Staples-Motley cheerleaders, all 5 of them, getting this crowd hyped up down here on the track. Another little bit of a wildcat play here by our man Tappy. Hurdled a man earlier. This time he's wrapped up by C.J. Fay before the line to gain of 9. And I was not seeing things earlier. They had Rutten wide left in a bit of a wildcat formation, like the old Miami Dolphins of 2000 and insert number here. I think 2008, maybe. I think it was 2008, 2009. I have to get some feedback on that one, but running back direct snap, 9 yards good. And this time it's going to be a Twins backfield shotgun. They're going to this time sweep it out left here to Bjerga. He's got some blockers in front, and there's going to be a flag, and this is going to get some jeers for sure. Boo Birds come out from the Staples side, and another flag coming out. After the play, a flag gets thrown, so I'm interested into what this is. All right, so offsetting penalties is called here, and there were some quite amusing and tension-building comments coming in from both the south side of the field and the north side of the field. Across the way, I heard the Staples-Motley coach, and I'm going to say, quote, guys, don't pancake, just block, or don't just block, don't pancake. So they certainly had some dissenting words about the and you can go back to the tape. I think we got it right in front of the running Bjerga there. Number 3, that is. I'll take a look. This is just it. Peyton Jarvis did put an impressive block on his man, and whether or not he wrapped him up is the question. Another procedural penalty here, and so there's been more flags thrown than anything so far tonight. But it'll walk him back again. So this Staples-Motley offense has been prolific. They really haven't been stopped by the Vikings. The only thing that's been stopping them has been partially themselves and partially some flags here. Most of them justified, and hopefully things don't escalate anymore. I think there's some awkward commentary happening between very fanatical fans, and that's why they're called fans for short. Now there's Carlson one more time with all kinds of space and speed, rolling past Ethan Eisenman for a gain of about 20, gashing these Vikings, and that's down to the 16-yard line. 1st and 10, Staples-Motley. I never thought in a 14-0 game in the second quarter there would be this kind of theatrics. It's enough to make my producer and the cameraman take an extra bite of popcorn early in the early goings. This is now Beachy. Turns up against Welch. Now runs over Ethan Eisenman and falls forward short of the end zone. But it is a first down at the 1-yard line. And the clock continues to wind. First and goal on the 1. It seems like a matter of time. This offense has been hard to stop before they eclipse 20 here with 5:30 and counting to go in the second quarter. Rutten, shotgun, Tappy beside him. They're going to give it to Carlson. He'll roll up and in the end zone. Another touchdown, Cardinals. And some substitutions come in here on this extra point play. Nicely drawn up there. Carlson was kind of the sticking point of that last drive. Had a couple nice big pass plays, big run plays. A couple of them were overshadowed by some penalties. Now they are going to go ahead and kick a field goal here, an extra point, I should say. The extra point is good. Caden Neeson, as mentioned, one of the strongest kickers, or the strongest kicker I've seen this season on kickoffs. It shows a nice end-over-end kick right down the middle for the Cardinals, and it makes it a 21-0 score with 5:18 to go in the second quarter here at Chauncey Martin Field. So the weather has cooperated more down there. It's not as misty here. The wind's still coming lightly out of the south, maybe southeast. And this time we'll see what Neeson can do sending it to the north with even better conditions. And the things that the conditions that have not improved is the Vikings deficit. They're down 21. Neeson pounds one down the middle, caught by Checo D'Souza at about the 10-yard line, space up the middle. Checo D'Souza runs right into a nice aggressive attack there by Checo D'Souza. He stood up there by number 65. That is Owen Roline. So that's a big freshman right there, 6'2", 215, strong tackle Roline. Gets Checo D'Souza on the ground, but not before a nice gain of about 28, and the Vikings will take over on downs. And so things have started to settle down here. There hasn't been any more negativity from any side. The Vikings are trying to get in the positive scoring column. Larson's had some nice passes. They just haven't strung together enough plays. Bricker Hauger back to the run. He's got space out to the left here. Bjerga cannot beat him. He makes him miss, and then he's cut down by Beachy, but not until a nice gain there of about 19, 18, down to the 42-yard line of Staples-Motley. So nice job by the Vikings sticking to this run. It feels like they did rely on the pass there for a while, and that was nicely done. A little bit of a counterplay, as many times the run can set up, or the pass sets up the run a lot of times with this Vikings offense. Another handoff this time, Hauger. This time Staples more prepared for it. They'll drive him back with authority there. Leading the way was number 67, Zachary Tabbitt. That's a 6-foot junior, 205 on the program. Like I said, Staples-Motley, a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, but plenty of freshmen dressing. Also, they have a good amount of sophomores. So I have not seen completely what their distribution is of seniors and juniors. But for example, you have Bo Carlson, who's been named all kinds of times here at just a sophomore. And so well-rounded team. in youth as well as experience. This is going to be a lateral play, but it's Checo D'Souza able to catch it with steam. And so dangerous looking pass one more time that well, that one might have been a forward pass. It was close, and it would have been certainly controversial if it would have been dropped or anything crazy would have happened. But I think Larson and Checo D'Souza hit each other on something very similar last week, heading to the left last week and out to the right this time. Really doing a great job rounding out that route with Checo D'Souza so that when he caught it, he could get a vertical head of steam, gain of 4, and so that makes it 3rd and manageable here. This is clearly 4-down territory. This time, Checo D'Souza out to the left. Larson over the middle, finds Jack Welch, turns it up. Can he make a man miss? He does. He gets out of 1 man, rolling forward to the 10, diving. Wait for the call. Wait for the call. Down at the 1. What a play there. Grady Larson finding Jack Welch. He steps out of a man and rolls forward to the 1-yard line. And now the challenge for the Vikings will be here to get through this strong front 7. And in the goal line scenario, more like a front 9 here of Staples-Motley. Can they get into the end zone, punch their ticket? Larson here looks like he's going to hand off Checo D'Souza. He makes a man miss, gets out to the left and scores. Nice run there. Aiden Checo D'Souza showing off his quick track feet, getting into the end zone for 6. Vikings answer when they needed it most. 21-6, they trail, down 15, 2:39 to go in the second quarter. Just what the doctor ordered. Keep these Vikings in this game mentally and really realistically as well, keeping things in play. They will not receive the second half kickoff, so you think that might be the last time they hold this ball here for the first half, and they cash in. They're setting up for a 2-point conversion here. It's shotgun set. Larson to his right is Checo D'Souza. High snap momentarily. Roll out to the right. They're trying to throw it over here to somebody. Andon Royston was the intended target. There was like 3 black jerseys all in the same spot, and there was also plenty of Staples-Motley Cardinals knocked down there by number 52, Noah Larson. So the school song is played here by the pep band, and the Vikings get on the board 21-6. And there's a little bit more fire in the eyes here of the Vikings faithful and the Vikings bench here. So exactly what was brought up in the pregame here is the Vikings have had flashes of brilliance and also flashes of where they are unable to stop these Cardinals. And that's been the main thing on defense. They haven't really shown anything of stopping these Cardinals. They've cashed in on 3 of their 4. They've cashed in on 3 of their 4 drives, have the Cardinals. Vikings now cash in on now 1 of their 4. Now walking up here to kick it away is number 9. That's Jimmy Salazar who kicked it away, and it's rolled forward up here to the 36-yard line. That's number 4. Evan Schultz one more time getting a touch here and bringing it the way of Staples-Motley. Jimmy back. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Staples-Motley, and the Vikings have a challenge here of 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Can they keep these Cardinals from rolling down the field? They really could use a stop. Keep this within 2 scores here going into the second half. Staples-Motley will receive the second half kickoff. So this is one of those 2-for-1 opportunities. If Tappy and the Cardinals can cash in, this could be kind of a dagger that they needed. Tappy rolling forward, holding that ball quite low in his left hand nonchalantly, but strong mitts from the Tappy, the senior. And Vikings, I thought for a moment we're going to be able to maybe punch that out because it looked like there were some people punching into it, but Tappy too strong and too smooth, really. Nice move by him, and you can see the the design of that shotgun play. He's set up to his left, and it's a sweep. It's kind of a toss play where Tappy can get that few extra steps wide and breaks contain and is rolling up. This time they'll fake the handoff to Tappy. It will be Rutten rolling out to his right. Ooh, almost in the hands of Russell. Or excuse me, that's Evan Schultz. Evan Schultz drops it right in first down range at about the 25-yard line. So steps back here to the 38. 2nd and 10. That's the type of play that you wish you have back if you're Schultz, and if you're the Vikings, you need to take advantage of here. 2nd and 10. They're backed up a little bit more than usual. Can they make one play on defense, the Vikings, to make this 3rd and tough? I have not seen a quarterback pressure yet. It's going to be a quarterback draw here, and wow, what good timing of it. Rutten rolls through the line and gets down inside the red zone to the 15-yard line. Man, that's such a great decision here. I think the Vikings were reading exactly what that was. 2nd and 10, potential passing scenario, open backfield. Let's try and get to the quarterback. All those defenders just sell out on pass rush straight up the field, and sneaking through it is Rutten, and sneaking all the way down to the 15-yard line is also an athletic man that can carry the ball that I have not given enough credit to. Rutten's been a great center fielder, great captain of this offense, but he is no slouch himself on the ball-carrying game. Handoff here to Bjerga. He rolls through one man, trucks another, and he is finally wrapped up by C.J. Fay and Ethan Eisenman, but not before he gets inside the 5. They're going to mark it at about the 2 or 3 yard line here, and that'll be 1st and goal, Staples. Just what I had feared. 1 minute and 10 seconds left with all their timeouts remaining. Staples-Motley has a full set of downs here to get it into the end zone and milk this clock so the Vikings don't have another shot. They got their power shotgun set, handoff, Bjerga again, and he rolls forward for a touchdown. Luke Bjerga gets 6 more for Staples, 210 senior, rolling for the Cardinals. And with that run right before half, there seems to be a deafening silence here that has made its way to the Pelican Rapids faithful. Nyson one more time. Gets it to go, so another nice kick there from Nyson, and now there's all kinds of chanting here. Go Big Red, I hear chanting, and so they're Nebraska Cornhuskers fans on Saturdays, but on Wednesdays they are Staples-Motley fans, and so big time touchdown for them. They are enjoying the heck out of this 22-point lead in Pelican Rapids. They're being sore winners. No, it's cool. Friday Night Lights, it's good stuff. Nyson one more time from the 40. This time a squib kick. I think it was intentional here. Oh, and Checo D'Souza falls over, and he does finally fall on the ball here. Slippery conditions down there. Checo D'Souza missed his footing, and that's exactly the nightmare scenario for the Vikings. And fortunately, they get on top of it with 44 seconds to go. You'd think that this halftime would end in, at worst, no score for Pelican Rapids, and that would have been almost point-blank range for Staples-Motley to continue to pile it on here. But instead, it'll be Grady Larson going in here to the center, checking out the wristband, calling the plays. Larson, empty set, 44 seconds. Vikings have some timeouts, so I think they'll pass it here. They'll continue forward. No, he'll try and hold it, and wow, he gets rid of it, and dangerously so. It's incomplete, and he busted through 2 defenders there and got rid of the ball, and in a way that wasn't intentional grounding. That was number 67 and number 52. That's Zachary Tabbitt, and 52 here is Noah Larson. Got out of their sack, and instead just an incomplete pass. And I think if I was the Vikings coaching staff, part of me wishes that sack goes down, you don't call a timeout, and you let this go to halftime. This is deep territory for the Vikings. Seems like nothing really good happens inside your own 15 at the end of the first half. We'll see. Larson back to pass, throws a rifle over the middle to Checo D'Souza. He's caught for a short gain, but he's wrapped up right away by Bjerga. And now a timeout's going to be called by Pelican Rapids. They're wanting to continue forward here, 3rd and 6. And if you're Staples, I have a feeling now the Vikings will have one more play to move the chains. You're not going to go for it on 4th down in this territory, but I was wondering if Staples-Motley was the one to take the timeout there, thinking that they could get something back with the chunk plays that they've had. But I can understand where Beachy's coming from. This seems like a game where the Vikings are a bit outmatched in their matchup. So why don't we execute the plays that we can execute with the time that we have and treat it almost as great great competition, right, to make your team better every single play. So this isn't the pros. This is high school. This is always teaching moments. Every moment is a teaching moment. Let's see what they can do on a 3rd and 4 with minimal time left on this clock in the first half. Larson, empty set, 3 right, 2 left, finding an open Ethan Eisman. He'll step out of bounds, and that's a veteran play there, getting a good chunk play in this clock stopping. Nice little 20-yard, about a 10 to 15-yard gain across the 30 up to the 33-yard line. Really nice job. Took 5 seconds, got 15 yards. And if they can piece together a few more of those, points might be an option with Jimmy Salazar here warming up his leg for a potential field goal or a touchdown for the Vikings. We'll see. Flag flies. It might be a legal formation or a legal motion here. It could also be a hold. We'll see what happens. I think I see... They're conferring on the sideline here, and I think it's an illegal shift called. So 5-yard penalty brings it to 1st down one more time, and if you're the Vikings here, 7 seconds went off and you went back 5 yards, so not advantageous for you if you're going to try and move down the field. And the Vikings are trying to execute a few more plays here before they go into the half. It's going to be Larson back to pass. Deep pass over here to get 5 yards. Eisenman forced out there by Carlson for a gain of a few. That's a gain of about 8, and it gets back across the original line of scrimmage and up to the 35-yard line. So a gain of 7 or 8. 7 seconds come off. 12 left to go in the first half. We're assuming this one will go into halftime at 28-6 unless some famous or infamous play happens here. Larson, he's going to look deep. No, he's going to stay down, check down. Eisenman, one more time, gain of 5. Now 3rd down and 7. It was 3rd down and 3 on a gain of what looks like about 6 or 7. 7.7 on the clock. Lots of 7s I'm talking about here. This could be lucky. We'll see. So they need a miracle, and they need someone, a veteran squad with, for example, Eli Rutten sitting in the back here to make a mistake at the safety position. He probably won't. Larson goes all kinds of deep towards Rutten, and Rutten was skying for the interception, and Eisenman almost made a one-handed grab, but I think was more playing like a defensive back there to avoid any kind of interception. And there's 0.9 seconds to go on the game clock. So it's basically one more down. It's 4th and 2, timeout Vikings. And so we'll see what happens. You basically have one untimed down here before half. They went deep earlier, and Rutten almost got an interception. Eisenman almost made a great play, and the Vikings have some weapons. They're missing Miguel Torres and McLean Hovland, two of their receivers tonight, and that is an important note so that when you think about this this receiver core of the Vikings, it is hamstringed a little bit, but don't forget you still have the likes of Jack Welch, Andon Roysum, Ethan Eisenman. You have options here. You have Andon Roysum at 6'4", 6'5", Jack Welch at 6'6", Ethan Eisenman with shifty moves. Notice I didn't mention his height. He's still probably 5'11". He just looks short next to those guys. But with on their own 40, the problem is Grady Larson's not going to be able to get it deep, but get it all the way to the end zone. So they're going to need a block or a flip or something crazy, and crazier things have happened. So they're going to try and execute a little Hail Mary play here. 4 receivers right, 1 man left. Back to pass, and fumble snap. Beachy just falls on it. Larson just falls on it. Beachy just sighs relief, and the Vikings run up to halftime, down 22. Staples-Motley 28, and Pelican Rapids 6. After the end of the first half, Staples-Motley will receive the second half kickoff, and we'll take a 15-minute break here and be back for the start of second half action. All right, the school song just got finished up, and we are getting ready here to kick things away to start the second half. Vikings will kick it off to the Staples-Motley Cardinals for the start of the third quarter. They're going to set it to 12 minutes here. Cardinals up 28-6. What has been a running display here. Eli Rutten, the quarterback for Staples-Motley, giving it to a plethora of weapons. Got a touchdown from Luke Bjerga was the last shot there to make it 28-6. Also, the touchdown here from Turner Beachy, and as well as Bo Carlson. And I can't remember that first score. I remember Colby Tappy getting a look, and I'm not sure if he ran it in. He's had plenty of cool runs here. Back it up and find it where he hurdled a man right here on the near side, turned it up for more. They got all kinds of running weapons here on this Staples-Motley team, and they're on full display tonight. Vikings, though, run out here to midfield, and to their side of the field and begin to clap their warm-ups. So let's see if they can't right the ship here. Hey, Jaden, you want to turn the camera to this warm-up here? And so for the Vikings here, they as they begin their warm-up, you take a look at what their first half was like, and to be honest, offensively it was slow moving except for one nice drive there where Bricker Haugerud, the running back for the Vikings, broke one loose for a few, and then Jack Welch had a nice gashing catch where he stepped out of a man and fell down to the 2-yard line. Aiden Checo de Souza polished it off with a nice run to the left side pylon for 6. Vikings didn't convert the point after. So we have 28-6. Vikings trying to continue to stay competitive against what we've mentioned is the 7th ranked team in Class 2A. Staples-Motley been formidable. Let's take a look at the scores around the area. They've finished up in Barnesville. Barnesville 50, Warroad 7. These Trojans trying to put one stamp into their chances of getting the number 1 seed in Section 8AA. Hawley 33, Roseau 14. They win here against the Rams. And so these are Section 8AA matchups here where Hawley and Barnesville clearly stamping their ticket on the high side of the section. This is not a Section 8AA matchup. We've mentioned this is a cross-sectional matchup. Pelicn Rapids in Section 8AA, Staples-Motley in Section 6AA. And so we're just taking a look here at this, what this is going to really turn into. This is such an interesting year for football in this region, right? Because you have the Barnesville Trojans, who are not as good as they have been in previous years, and the Pelicn Rapids Vikings, who frankly have not been as good as they have been in previous years. The Hawley Nuggets, who lost Noah Nelson and a couple studs on their side, so they're not as good as they have been. And it's just it's a section that in general has a ton of parity. And then you look over at Section 6, which is just ridiculously stacked. You have Staples-Motley right now at 6-1 and 7th ranked in the state, at 3rd in the section. Right now, Pillager at 7-0 is ranked 3 in the state and 2nd in their section, and Holdingford is at 7-0. And I remember the Vikings playing Holdingford in the section final, and that team is always very good, getting some open enrollees from St. Cloud and the likes, and it doesn't even matter about open enrollment or not. They just have a culture of football down there in the, if you don't know where that is, that's just north of Avon. And that, when I look at it, you even have an Osakas team. The Silver Streaks are at 6-1, and their only losses to Holdingford, which was 40-14. So Silver Streaks are not ranked in the state on top 10, but I guess I could look at the state standings and tell you what their official ranking is by the rankings. But it is the tale of two sections, really. The best of times in Section 6 and the worst of times in Section 8. What you might say, and that's Turner Beachy turns it up with nobody close. Their hands are pointing up here. Jack Welch is the last line of defense, and he does force him out at the 10-yard line. So, wow, Staples makes a statement here on just their first play from scrimmage in the second half. But maybe there's been a few plays, to be honest with you, and I've just been yapping and haven't been paying attention. I've just been looking at my phone at these section rankings because I didn't realize. I knew Section 6 was good, but I didn't really do the research to know that it's this good, because you heard Staples wanting a rematch against Pillager, and I thought, well, there's no doubt they're going to rematch in the section final. Well, that is certainly not the case. It may be that neither of them make the final. It could be an Osakis, Staples, Pillager, Holdingford type of semifinals where the final is Osakis and Holdingford. Who knows? But if you are a fan, you want your team to be the section champion. But you also want to get there in some kind of a storybook fashion. Wouldn't you want to play the best teams to be the best? And I have a feeling whatever team that is forged out of the fire that is Section 6A should be able to make some noise in the state tournament. And we know the Staples team went to the state tournament last year, and we were kind of happy about the enemy of our enemy when these Cardinals beat the Barnesville Trojans in the first round of the state tournament. That was exciting. And so we're happy about that, and now a year later, we're not so happy that they're beating us 28-6 and really knocking on the door for another score here. But a procedural penalty will slow up that run by Burga. Yeah, I could go on and on. I really want to just take a deep dive into what their schedule has been like, because this Holdingford team, although they are in Section 6AA, they don't really play a schedule that is exclusively Section 6AA. They play some teams like Eden Valley Watkins is a good team from around their area. They play two St. Cloud teams, Cathedral and Apollo, respectively. And Apollo, they really shouldn't be playing because they're 0-7, and Holdingford beat them 61-8. Tonight they're playing Sauk Center, which is 0-7 team, Sauk Center, and they're winning 40-0 at the end of the first half. Holdingford is looking for a challenge, and they probably won't get one until the section semifinals when they face a team like Osakis or maybe Staples-Motley. When I look at Staples-Motley's schedule this year, they have really been looking for challenges. They did get one in Dilworth, Glendon, Felton, which is perennially a great team in 3A. They won by 10, 28-18. That's an impressive win there for the Cardinals. They also beat the Barnesville Trojans by 4. And this Barnesville team has been hot and cold. They've showed some games where they've been solid. Like, for example, the game against Staples might have been one of their best games of the year, but then other times Barnesville, they scratch your head because they, for example, just beat Hawley by 2, and they beat Pelican Rapids by just 6. And so you start to think that they are more of the level of the Vikings and Nuggets and not the level of a team like Staples, but they held with them. So we'll see. Barnesville at 4-3 has a chance to be the 1 seed. But Frazee also has a weird schedule because they don't really play anybody on this Section 8AA side of the bracket. They've been playing a lot more like 1A schools. When you take a look at Lake Park Audubon, Browerville, Monaga, Breckenridge, they ended up losing to this year. So Breckenridge is the 6th-ranked team in single A 11-man, I might add. But that for Frazee, they have the best QRF ranking at 5-2, but I'm not sure if they'll contain that. It looks like they're making a statement here in their game with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Frazee Hornets up over Ottertail Central 34-0. So those Hornets are trying to make a statement to say, give us the number 1 seed. And if they do get the 1 seed, that means Barnesville is going to have to play, and they will not get an opening bye, and they will host likely a team from up north. It's either Crookston or Roseau or maybe Warroad. And it's weird, where do you put Roseau? Because Roseau beat Pelicn by 20. And the Pelicn would love that Roseau stayed below them because it would mean they would get a home game and not an away game. But I'm unsure as to what that's going to be. Eli Rutten on 4th down tries to intend that over here to number 1, Bo Carlson. It's incomplete. And so very quietly here, the Vikings make a stand in the red zone and all kinds of thumbs up. And that's maybe my cue to start paying attention to the game on the field and stop talking about the hypotheticals of the playoff season. But it's coming up, folks, and we're all excited for it here, whether you're in Section 6AA or Section 8AA. That's why both of these teams are going to give each other high fives at the end of the game and say, hey, good luck in your playoff time, because they won't have to see each other until a hypothetical state tournament. And if both Staples and Pelicn are in the state tournament, then I'm going to and meeting each other in that state tournament, because I'm certainly going to buy a lottery ticket. We'll see. Grady Larson, handoff Bricker Haugrud, rolling forward here. He's bottled up by a host of Cardinals. That strong front shines yet again. Gain of 3 there for the junior. And that's one thing to note about Pelican Rapids. Their main output offensively, when I look up and down this lineup here, Ethan Eisenman, Grady Larson, Bricker Haugrud, they're all juniors. Aiden Checo de Souza, sophomore. When I look at their line, Edwin Escobar, junior. Maddox Vondra, junior. Levi Hillica, is he a sophomore? Yes. We have, oh no, bad snap. That might turn into a safety. Hopefully it is. And Larson kicks it out of bounds, which is actually a flag. So I don't know how they're going to handle that because you cannot kick the ball. I think it'll be a safety and a 15-yard penalty. It was going to go out of bounds, and Larson just gave it the last little boot. And I think they're going to accept that penalty and make it even a better field position for Staples-Motley on this ensuing. Did they kick it off on a safety? I believe they don't punt. They do punt it. So the receiving team has a choice, or the kicking team has a choice. Okay. So for Grady Larson, the kicking is a penalty, yes, but what it does do is it guarantees 5 points off the board for the other team. It guarantees that there's not going to be a touchdown for Staples. Instead, it's just a safety, but they are going to incur a 15-yard penalty, which will really back Pelican Rapids up deep, where they're going to be kicking it from their own red zone, presumably. They'll kick it off at the 20-yard line, it looks like, and it'll be Jimmy Salazar to kick it away. But so Staples rounds it out to an even 30, and they get a turnover here. They get the ball back, and that's a really tough situation here. And that was just as I was talking up Levi Hillica as a sophomorical snap over the head of Larson. And creating a safety. So the Vikings were trying to gain some kind of momentum and stay competitive. And instead, here comes Staples-Motley. It's going to be Tappy who gets it here at his own 40. Makes one man missteps up here over to midfield. Is bottled up there and gets brought down at the 49. Well, they'll put it at midfield, thankfully, because they're just doing not a lazy job. These officials are doing a great job, but they'll just set it at midfield and put it down. I was afraid they were going to do it yet again, left hash on the 49, but this time it's right at midfield on top of the Viking head. That's where these Cardinals will take over for yet another drive after forcing the safety. Rutten. Sweet play, Carlson. He's going to try and turn it up. He does. Mark Royston tries to chase him down. Doesn't. Steps out of Edwin Escobar. Outruns a couple more Vikings into the end zone. Touchdown. Bo Carlson's had some good runs tonight. That might have been his best. The sophomore eludes multiple Vikings and finds his way into the south side end zone. 36-6. Cardinals continue to pile it on. It will be Nyson lining up here for another kick. Everything that he's done kicking today is going to tell me that this is just going to be a nice, easy kick, end over end, right down the middle for another extra point. And, of course, inducing the jinx, it is blocked at the line and no good. So do not tack on an extra point. 36-6 will be the score. Vikings will get the ball back. And that has been now a dazed and confused 5 minutes for the Vikings, in which they get a stop on fourth down and they start to think, hey, if we get a score here, we start to make a respectable game that continues to be competitive and in all kinds of ways. Now, instead of being down a couple scores, they're down 30 with just 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. And they start to have a little bit of air sucked out of them. But I was just trying to talk up this offense and in general this team and how youthful they are. And I'll continue down the line. I was mentioning all the juniors that were named. Edwin Escobar is the left tackle. Left guard, Maddox Vondra, both juniors. Levi Hillica, the center there, as a sophomore. The right guard is Roscoe Stubbs. He's a junior. There's one senior on this line. It's Harley Jacobson, right tackle. The other athletes here in the backfield here, we have Miguel Torres and Jack Welch, notable seniors that are receivers. Everybody else, Andon Roysum, I could say McLean Evelyn's also a senior. Andon Roysum, Ethan Eisenman, Tate Marich, all juniors. So that's really lining up for what is a great senior campaign for a plethora of guys. And on the defensive end, I haven't even mentioned Calvin Norton, a strong junior for the Vikings on defense. A couple other names surely there that I have not mentioned. But this Vikings team is really lining up to have a lot of improvement, a lot of returning talent for next year. So in a bit of a rebuilding year for Coach Beachy. And they have had, like I mentioned, moments of brilliance, moments of competitiveness against the best of the best. Staples-Motley really being the best of the best here in the state, coming here to play in Pelican Rapids. But they are trying to dial it all together to develop this team and continue to move the Pelican Rapids program, which has been perennially good, together. Jack Welch had a nice catch, and he'll slide forward for a gain of about 10. And Welch had that right leg get dirty in most of this earlier in the game. Now this time his left leg gets dirty as he slides forward for, they're going to give him all of that slide across the 30 to the 31. Move the chains, first down, nice little pitch and catch for 11. Larson again, looking out of the flat to Checo. No, he'll stay up the middle. Finding Welch again. This time he falls forward to the 48-yard line. And what a rope for Grady Larson, forward for 17. And Jack Welch is really having a nice game, certainly his biggest reception game of the season. He's already been targeted probably 5-6 times, and that's part of, and with four catches, I would say, for 60, 80 yards maybe. I wish I was keeping on the stats here, but Jack Welch, great game in his potentially last game here at Chauncey Martin Field as a senior. Checo D'Souza dives to make that catch, which really is not advantageous for the Vikings. And you were hoping that the officials called it a trap. That's a loss of 5 instead of a incompletion here. And that sends the Vikings back. So that's a sophomore Checo D'Souza who really made a great effort to make the play, but sending the Vikings in a situation that sends them back also keeps the clock winding. 6:50 to go in the third quarter. Vikings down a lot. In motion, Ethan Eisenman. They fake the handoff to Eisenman. He, off his back foot, tries to throw it over the middle. Tappy picks it off, trying to find Andon Roysum, and that's where Grady Larson's big arm gets him in trouble. He thinks he can make any throw off his back foot, almost making a 20-yard pass. And really, I mean, he almost fitted into a window, but better defense from Tappy, who scaled up high to 9 feet and made a snag. So another interception for Larson, his second of the day. And here come the Staples-Motley Cardinals quickly right back on offense, heading to the south here. Tappy, Wildcat, handoff Bjerga, and he is dropped down and almost lost the ball momentarily and fell on it. And wow, what great captain-type behavior there from Tappy. He's looking at his teammate, number 52, that is the Noah Larson, the senior, and just trying to keep him composed, because Larson brought all kinds of intensity on a block and gave an extra shove there, passed through the whistle like you were taught, and that's the type of thing that it could result in a penalty if he's not careful. And Tappy just trying to say, hey, stay composed and don't do anything that will result in 15 yards at the end of the play. And there's Turner Beachy one more time, turning it upfield here for a gain of about 12 and a first down for Staples-Motley. And Eli Rutten just kind of warming his hands over there on the left-hand side. The quarterback enjoying this Wildcat formation. He continues to sit by the coaching staff. And no, this time he will run it in. He was taking a couple plays here on this receiving side of the bench. And this time he will take the snap, take the helm here with Tappy and Bjerga beside him. He'll toss it with his left hand out to Tappy going right. And this time Aiden Checo D'Souza is able to track down Tappy and drop him for a short gain, just a couple. Second down and 8 now after positive yards, right? 2 yards is 2 yards, but the Vikings will be happy to drop him for only that, as they've been chunking these Vikings most of the game. Rutten takes the snap, tries to set up a screen, does set up a screen. Turner Beachy able to catch it, but nice pursuit there by number 54. It's a great play. Levi Hillica on defense, reading that screen, not getting too sucked in, and taking down Turner Beachy. And that was a play that gashed the Vikings against Warroad with their strong runner, Connor Lund, who turned one up for a catch and run of 45 and a touchdown. This time Turner Beachy tried to get out of the hands of Hillica. He was all over it. Nicely done there. Vikings with some bench help, calling the run here. Sweep right side this time. One more time. Carlson turning it up. Mark Roysum falling on top of number 44 there. John Shotzo. Excuse me. Wow. Usually I'm not fooled by many pronunciations, but I think the program being in all caps threw me off here. Shotzko. So John Shotzko is a wide receiver on the right side who's trying to clear up Carlson, and he did, and Mark Roysum fell on top of him here. This time it's going to be a keeper by Tappy. Got outside the contain of Checo D'Souza, falls forward, and 4th and 5. He got all of 12. So the Vikings had a moment here to stop their momentum and continued to roll. So clock continues to wind slowly. 3:26, 3:25, rolling down here in the third quarter. The Staples-Motley fan still resilient here, announcing to everybody that it was a first down. Handoff Rutten. Keeper Rutten throws it to Shotzko, and Shotzko takes a shot from C.J. Fay, Edwin Escobar, both in pursuit there. That's a big man. Shotzko wearing number 44. For a second, I thought he was a fullback or a tight end or something. He's been out wide here, but has a tight end frame, made a catch, and took a shot, but it was right in the mix there, stayed strong on it. Hard man to bring down. As a extra substitution will be made here, as they were looking for their left guard. He came in. Tappy again out of this wildcat formation, and that one seemed kind of doomed from the start, and it will be a delay of game. It turns out it takes a long time for a left guard to get from the sideline all the way to the right hash across the field, and it'll still be 2nd down and 7, so they are still on the plus side of the chains here. But instead of 2nd and short, it will be 2nd and 7. Vikings really could use some kind of big play here to keep the momentum going their way, give their offense an opportunity to have momentum and execute against a great opponent. Fake the handoff. Rutten looking for a crossing pattern here. Now he'll step up. Vikings keep the pocket there. And now on the other side of the field, everyone forgot about Turner Beachy, and that's the last guy I'd want to forget about here on the right side. He catches it, strolls into the end zone calmly for another score with 1:52 to go in the third quarter. It is Staples-Motley 42, Pelican Rapids 6. Vikings MEA break getting spoiled here by these Cardinals. Kick is up, this time not blocked, and Nyson gets it to go through. And I'm going to be fair to Nyson. I think if he wouldn't have gotten his kick blocked, I think it was going to go through again. So I'm just going to say this man has a nice-looking end-over-end kick here. And if his line holds up for him, it did that time. Nicely done. 43-16. Staples up 36, or sorry, 37, excuse me. Where's my Pelican Rapids math when I need it? 1:52 remaining in the third quarter.
Cardinals on the kickoff following a touchdown, number 11 on the kick. Caden Nyson. Vikings deep to receive. 0 Ethan Eisman and 1 Aiden Pepper.
So Caden Nyson takes 7 steps backward, 1 big step to his left hand in the air. Kicks it high end over end right to Ethan Eisman, probably the Vikings' best returner. Makes a man miss here, rolls through, trucks a man. Well, I wouldn't say trucks a man, but runs over him, and he gets pulled down on that tackle. So +2 on that. And nice return there. Tackle was made by number 51, Bryson Dump Rope. So So Pelican Rapids walks up here to the line. Number 77 goes in front of him here. That is Russell Milton for Staples-Motley. Has had limited time. He comes in here off the bench. Bricker Haugard running to the left. He's done well against that, and part of that is really good efforts here by Edwin Escobar, seeing him pushing his man 7 yards deep. It was their number 69, been the starting left end here. They have a little extracurricular shove there after it looked like Escobar got the best of him. Gain of 4 there for Pelican Rapids. Larson fakes a handoff this time, finds Eisman. Eisman makes a man miss. Now he moves back to the left side. Almost got horse collar, but instead is drugged down legally. Finally from behind there by number 55. That is, Adrian Caldwell for Staples. Nice little stutter step or back cut there by Eisman. Backstepping, changing directions. His first couple steps is really impressive here. He gets from 0 to 90% in just a couple steps, and made a man miss, and now we have a injured Staples-Motley player here as the players take a knee. This player, I cannot catch the number here. He's sitting by midfield. We do not have him in our window. The training staff for Pelican Rapids as well as the coaching staff for Staples-Motley takes a look, and so looks like the training staff here. working on, looks like a right leg injury there. Number 52. That's Noah Larson here, the senior, writhing in pain. Might have been an ankle, knee here. We'll try and update you. I have a feeling putting 0 weight on that. I'm assuming the senior's night likely done. Applauses here from both sides. Excited to see him get off the field in reasonably good spirits, considering the pain that he is enduring. And that is where we'll whistle things back here. Grady Larson taking the shotgun snap, 7-step drop, steps into this one here, finding Ethan Eisenman. And for the Staples-Motley, it's fortunate that he caught that with a slide, because if he turns upfield, he has one man to beat and might get into the end zone. Nice body control there from the junior Eisenman. Moving the chains for the Vikings and putting them into the red zone of Staples-Motley. Larson, Grady, out left to Eisenman. He tried to make a man miss over there, but he is wrapped down there by number 11, Caden Neeson. Nyson able to make the tackle right before he gets into the end zone. It's down to the 4-yard line. It will be 1st and goal. Vikings 1 for 1 when they've gotten to the goal line here. They just haven't been able to drive down this far often enough in this game. This time Larson, handoff, Bricker Haugard up the middle, makes a stutter steps through the hole. Nice read by him, and touchdown is the call on the far side of the field. So touchdown, Pelican Rapids. Bricker Haugard stutter steps through the line, lowers his shoulder, and gets in. Couple car horns honk is a consolation touchdown here. As the end of the 3rd quarter is going to be an untimed extra point as the Vikings make it 43-12 here. And they will walk out Jimmy Salazar with Ethan Eisenman holding, Jimmy Salazar kicking. Snap down, looks good. Nice spot, nice kick, end over end and good. The sophomore Salazar gets it to go. And the Vikings now make it 43-13. 30-point lead, but a nice little momentum gainer there with a good drive from Pelican Rapids. They execute well on that one, and we'll try to continue to claw into this deficit. All right, let's get to some scores that we really might care about here. If you're Staples-Motley, Pillager 33, Park Rapids area 6. So Pillager up big here against Park Rapids area. We talked about the Holdingford score. We think that one's almost over here. 6 minutes left in the 3rd. Holdingford 49, Sauk Center 0. No doubt that they're going to be able to work through without any concerns. Osakis is playing Melrose, a Melrose team at 4-3, but Osakis is taking care of business there, 24-6. Osakis with a lead. So it looks like all of the Section 6AA teams in the top half, those top 4 teams, are going to get their victories at the end of the season. And there, bottled up at the 30-yard line was a return from number 12. Calvin Norton is able to get that bottle up here. Number 12, Cooper Tappy. That's a freshman right here getting some time. It looks like Staples-Motley brings out their 2nd string here, trying to get them some minutes. Running out is number 12, Cooper Tappy. He has quarterback tallied on his program here, so I believe he'll do the backup quarterback duties, the JV squad. And Pelican Rapids has also followed suit and put their JV squad, their mixed squad, 2nd stringers on the field here for some good running action. The start of the 4th quarter is underway. It starts with a run here by Caden Nyson. It's a nice gain of about 4. Brenner Fredrickson takes him down. And this is where I need the program out for both teams here when I haven't been watching this JV team play enough snaps here, and it's hard to tell who's who with their number. That's tackled there by number 11 for the Vikings. A run, number 11 is Brenner Fredrickson, and those a run by number 25, Aiden Hovland. That's kind of a combination of Pelican Rapids names right now. Aiden Hovland, that is a 5'9 sophomore. And getting a look here for Staples. And so for Pelican Rapids, any games that they care about here, Otter Tail Central did not beat Frazee. Looks like the Hornets may get the first seed. We'll see if historically the committee can select it to be Barnesville just because of their strength of schedule, but we will see what they choose to do. Cooper Tappy looks as shifty as what I'm presuming is his older brother. He moves the chains forward here for a gain up to the 43-yard line. And Staples continues to wind this clock down. So Barnesville is able to also get their victory against Warroad. We mentioned that to be done. Hawley took care of business. And so the only team we haven't talked about in 6AA is Crookston. And Crookston kind of ended their season on a bit of a high note as they played Red Lake this today and won 54-6. So good to see the Pirates get back in the win column here. They'll have 2 wins. We'll see what that means for them. And nice little run out to the left side here by number 8. That sounds like Jaden Rogers here. That is a freshman as well. Brenner Fredrickson yet again here at the right defensive end is getting his name called. So making some nice plays on the left side here, Brenner Fredrickson. They're asking to reset the play clock and allow them forward here. Let's see. And that's a bobble snap here. Vikings are trying to fall on it here. We'll see what the result is. And it is the Pelican Rapids Vikings who fall on it. Trey Dockett is going to be the quarterback for the Vikings. He's able to turn it upfield here, and he runs out of bounds. Ball pops out of his arms momentarily, but not before he's well out of bounds. Tackled there by number 4, Evan Schultz. Not before Dockett is able to get outside of containment and get down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. So it's just exciting to see some executed plays here by the Vikings youth here. And by youth, I mean people that will be playing plenty of snaps in just a couple of years, if not next year. Trey Dockett might have to wait his turn until Grady Larson is said and done. That is an absolute man of a quarterback right now for the Vikings. Nice run there. Mark Roysum breaking contain out to the left side, still on his feet now, tumbles out of bounds for a gain of about 7. He'll move the chains forward. And Docken runs all the way over to Coach Chris Hacker, the JV head coach here and assistant for the Vikings. And he relays the play in. And the Vikings have a little bit of a pistol set here with Roysum behind him. Bunch set on the right side. They are going to pitch it out here to Roysum. Roysum trying to get around to the edge and does again. Makes a man miss, runs through, and runs out of bounds. Number 12, they're forcing him out, Cooper Tappy. So I thought Roysum's toss was going to go nowhere, but the extra speed from Mark is able to turn up the edge and get 9 for the Vikings down inside the 30, into the side of the 25 rather, to the 23-yard line. Jaden, fix your camera. Dokken, handoff here. Mark Roysum again, running forward here, keeping the feet moving. Host of Staples-Motley men need to take him down. It is Jacob Reek who finally is able to get him on top of a couple other men who had him wrapped up around his legs. Nice work by Roysum, keeping those Flintstone feet moving in the wrap-up and hopping his way down into the red zone. Gain of enough for another first down. He only needed a couple, got, looks like, about 5. Another handoff, Roysum. He has space up the middle this time, runs through one man, and he's tackled inside the 10-yard line down to the 5, and they're going to move the chains again. Let's drop the chains, in fact. Drop it at the 5, 1st and goal. Even though it is a bit of JV time here, Vikings have something to cheer about, and specifically Mark Roysum, the sophomore. I've got to double check. He might just be a freshman. I remember coaching him back in the basketball days, but something makes me think he is a sophomore right now. Yes, he is a 5'6", 155-pound sophomore. This time, Dokken had the option play, decided to move forward, and it looked like a bit of a busted play. He's able to get back to the line of scrimmage. He claps his hands in frustration, goes over to Hacker here for another one. We've eclipsed 7 minutes left in this game, 43-13. If you're just watching right now, Staples-Motley scored early and often. Vikings had a couple nice drives, but not enough to keep them in this game. The JV is on the field for both sides. Vikings JV looking impressive. Mark Roysum, a big reason for that. 2nd and goal, 5-yard line. Trey Dokken here, out of the pistol here. Takes a snap. Fakes a handoff to Roysum. Almost gets tripped up, stays on his feet, runs, throws back across his body. Very dangerous pass from Dokken. Should have been picked off, and by should have been, I meant could have been. And you could say shoulda, coulda, woulda there. Hand extended. Looked like a Brett Favre type of pass in the 2009 section championship. I watched too many high school games to talk about sections. This isn't Detroit, man. This is a Super Bowl. Is what was said that night by Paul Allen when Brett Favre threw across his body to an interception. I believe it was Porter was the defensive. I might be wrong on that. The defensive back for the New Orleans Saints. And this one is going to be picked off. So all this talks about interceptions turns into an interception by Tappy and a touchback. So nice, strong drive led by Mark Roysum's running, and it all turns into a touchback. Staples-Motley will get the ball back. It was tit for tat here. One turnover here by Staples-Motley, now another turnover by Pelican Rapids. Clock continues to roll once this snap goes at 6:24 in the 4th quarter. That's a rolling run there by number 30 of Staples-Motley. That is Eli Bounds, the 5'5" freshman, getting things rolling and falling forward to the 29-yard line, gain of 9. And maybe it's Staples-Motley's turn to get some nice, impressive runs here from an underclassman. This time, Bounds, just a freshman here, put at 120 on the program. A lot of these freshmen, you know how they grow. If you're a mom out there listening, they said 120 in August. He's probably 135 here by the time we've hit October. And a procedural penalty will result in a 5-yard penalty. So instead of 2nd and 1 now, it's 2nd and 6. And the white hat will blow the whistle, ask for the clock to be wound. And now it will be wound. 5:43, 5:42 to go in this game. We have a little discrepancy, but I'm sure it'll all even out by the time things are said and done here between our play clock and the play clock, or our game clock and the game clock on the field. Tappy. This is the younger brother, we are assuming, Cooper. He takes a snap, pitches it out here to the left here. Number 25, Aiden Hovland, is tackled big by 68, Finn Stewart. And he's all kind of excited here. And that got all kinds of cheers from the student section. That's a fan favorite, Finn Stewart. this season, enjoying the channeling his inner A.J. Hawk or Clay Matthews with the long blonde hair. Does not play on the exterior, more of an interior defensive lineman anyway. Cooper Tappy this time runs through that defensive line and rolls into a first down for Staples-Motley. And the defenders falling into Chris Hacker there, and I see him with a little bit of a limp coming up slow there. It's interesting to see these guys these high school kids take a beating all game. They're fine. Hacker, the I don't know 20-something-year-old, maybe 30-year-old here, gets a little slide into his legs, and he hasn't been warmed up for that type of behavior. He's going to walk a little bit further down the field. He's not going to stand near the line of scrimmage anymore. Handoff here this time. That is a big man running, number 35. That's a Tristan Moore, 5'11" freshman. That is a big freshman right there. Gets a hand through, strong looking back, hard to take down. Vikings do after just a gain of 3. They're happy to have Thomas Johnson and Finn Stewart in the interior there to make a tackle. Once again, Tappy fakes a handoff. This time it's that little counter play, misdirection. Running for Staples is number 8. He's bottled up after a short gain there. That is Jaden Rogers, excuse me. That's the nice thing about these this Staples team. They've had such a well-rounded group of juniors and seniors now. They can truly enjoy it here. Everyone I've seen carry the rock here has been mostly freshmen and sophomores getting their time, getting opportunities to develop themselves. And I have a feeling that this Staples-Motley program really isn't going anywhere when you look at the athletes that they are putting on their field right now. That is a nice little toss out left here to the freshman Moore. And he rolls up right next to the first down yard to gain. And they'll move the chain. Set it right there on the 50. Wind the clock, move the chains. 1st and 10, Cardinals. 2:34 remaining. With the ball set right here on midfield, we are looking at the Staples team one more time. Cooper Tappy going to walk his team up here and try and put a nice cap on this Staples-Motley victory. Another little misdirection inside here. This time it is Caden Nyson. The nice kicker has a nice run forward here for a gain of 17 all the way down to the 33-yard line as some substitutions run on for Pelican Rapids. Trade Dockin in, Zane Pint in. Coming in for Ian Bakken and Josh Batson. Nice to see, as I've said, all players here for the entire squads getting time. And you obviously, if you're Pelican Rapids, you wish that you could have a competitive game that was white-knuckling all the way to the end. Instead, it isn't. Moore coughed up the ball. Fortunately, fell right on it. But that's a negative play there at a bad time. 2nd and 13. Although they do not need a first down or anything for this game to continue moving. Looks like this probably will be the last few plays, and there's no real urgency to score or execute. So I have a feeling unless a huge gaping run happens soon, there will just be 2 more plays in this game. We will see what it is. Tappy, pitch out here left to Aiden Hovland. He cuts upfield, but then he is tackled by Finn Stewart. And he's all kinds of excited. Another nice play here from the big man inside, number 68. Well done. And this is how this game is going to end on this play here. Staples-Motley got the best of Pelican Rapids varsity today, 43-13. Staples-Motley will just take a knee at the end. And that's how the regular season is going to end. Staples-Motley with just one loss on their plate, hoping to face Pillager one more time to move forward in the Section 6A section, and that's a stacked section, so best of luck to you Cardinal fans on your season going forward in 6AA. Here in Pelican Rapids, we are going to await some 8AA candidates, and we'll potentially be here for that if we get a home game next week. But otherwise, thanks for watching this season with Channel 2, and we'll see you next